Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Golden Ticket, Case 2, Canaries in the Coal Mine. So, you open the door a crack to discover Veronica's grinning face held very close to the door. She grins and says, "Boo."
June makes a return gesture with the signs for surprise and who.
Veronica leans against the door frame, appearing amused. Come on, dear, you have exactly the same wound.
Depressed that her marvelous knock knock joke has fallen flat, June's going to open the door.
Don't invite her in.
Veronica continues to appear amused as she says, "Ah, then I may come in."
Is there someone you'd like me to get for you?
Oh, I could always do with seeing Laurie. Something tells me he won't be pleased that I'm here, though. Really, I'm just here to deliver a bit of a message.
June signs that makes everything so much better and indicates that you are welcome for a period of 12 hours.
She laughs and says, "Oh, I like you."
June smiles vacantly and asks if we've met before.
Veronica steps in, gives June a pat on the head, and says, perhaps not."
Okay, so I'm going to guess I'm probably hearing Veronica entering the house. Random is.
Oh, yes, and probably smelling Veronica.
I think Random is going to try to hide somewhere, um, just so that she has advantage of surprise in case things go horribly wrong.
Switch the TV channel over to one of those ones that just plays a crackling fireplace and then hide in there. Vampires hate fire.
Yeah. So I'm going to be trying to get a place where I can stay close but not be immediately observed.
Alrighty, that sounds like a sneak around.
Yep. Raised in lab cage.
I will give you that, yes.
Doors to the garden, since there's one right there.
Yep,
Monsters can hide.
sounds good.
Anything else?
Well, you haven't used a mantra of deception.
No, I haven't.
The room is probably well lit.
So that would be a
I
status against me.
um not I won't give it as a status against you. Um but I am going to use the help on Laurie
Okay.
because Laurie is going to freak out when Veronica just walks through the.
So is that a plus to me?
Yes, it was a help.
Got it. Okay, so I have a 4. And I used a tag from Nameless and Forgotten, so this is dynamite.
Nice.
Here we go. Sneak around.
There we go.
Almost. One off.
Yeah.
Random is in the TV to the side of a crackling fireplace. Maybe every once in a while her shadow gets appears on the scene, but she's not immediately visible.
Pose casually like you're taking part in a Christmas movie or something.
Yeah.
As Veronica steps into the room, Laurie screams and falls out of his chair. She chuckles and waves down at him and says, "Hello, dear. Nice to see you again."
Looking at where, both Random and Laurie have done a panicked evacuation of something, Elaine just looks exasperated and makes a little drink gesture to Veronica.
She glances at Laurie and says, "Well, if you're offering a sip."
The current signs are technically not mine.
She chuckles and says, "Well, then, I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't drink much."
I guess Elaine is going to shrug and have a cup of hot chocolate. And because it amuses her infinitely, June is going to sit in the corner at a recharging, holding a USB charger that's plugged into the wall.
Hmm.
Puppet, the puppets of the modern puppet master are digital.
That, or just Elaine thinks it's amusing that if she's going to vacate consciousness from a puppet, she should leave it in a situation like that.
Cool.
I could be very easily amused.
So yes, I'm going to ding surreal normalcy for some. Laurie points at her and says, "What the hell is she doing?"
The fact that you've only said her makes me want to assume you're pointing at June and say that she's just having a little rest.
Right.
Okay, so Veronica shrugs and says, "Well, apart from wanting to see you, I have a little problem. Remember I was explaining to you about ghouls before? Well, sorry, I was explaining to Laurie about ghouls before. You know, the horrifying, unearthly shells of people that are tainted by my blood and reanimated to do my bidding."
It does sound familiar.
Laurie is growling a little bit at that.
Probably random space is appearing in the TV somewhere, and real briefly, and then maybe her silhouette somewhere getting into a pounce position.
Hmm. Yes, so I've been in the city for 10 days. I haven't done much, honestly, just, apartment hunting, all of that sort of thing. Doing a bit of investigation, working out what I've missed in the past few years of myself being away. And it has come to my attention that there are ghouls in this city that I didn't create. Of course, none of mine are left from before I was taken away. So the question that I have for all of you is, who is creating ghouls? And where can I find them?
Elaine is going to sign back with we, not unique, um, puppet. I'm going to push stop. All puppets, not me. All ghouls, not you.
You're saying there are other vampires in this city that I didn't make.
Alternately, other creation methods.
Well, I guess I might have expected this. My brides did meet the final death before my incapacitation.
Random's going to try to get close enough to get a scent off of Veronica, get any hint of where she's been.
Okay, do an investigate.
Okay. Heightened situational awareness?
Yep.
Oh, raised in a lab cage? I don't know.
No.
Okay. Inured to the horrible? No.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes, you're trying to get close to Veronica. She's pretty.
Yep. And I'm hidden, so can I get a peer out of nowhere? But I'm not appearing, so I don't know if that applies.
No, because you're not appearing.
Got it.
Yeah, unfortunately not. I am going to ping placement limit.
Right, because I have to do it from where the TV is. Okay.
What do people think about fear of exposure?
Um, yes. I don't think you want to come out of the TV, and that's hampering your ability to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, we got a flat 0.
Mm-hmm.
Would my current status of guilt be encouraging me to try harder to avenge the people Veronica killed?
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
I'll allow that one.
Okay. So, a +1 for investigate. Well,
One clue.
does she is there what smells, what kind of place smells are hanging about her?
She has been in the sewers.
Okay.
I am also going to hit confinement is bad on you to do a hard. I'm going to ask you to face danger.
Oh dear. What kind of danger? Is this a mental thing?
This is a mental thing. You are getting. Oh, random is getting more agitated because this TV is quite small. I mean, it's a pathway to the garden, but the passageway between the two places is closing in.
So either go to the garden or go into the room. Ooh. Okay, so I'm gonna go.
More to the point, I don't think Random's going to go into the room. I think it's more either tough out at getting smaller or go to the garden.
Okay, got it. Um. Okay, explore my free will.
Mm-hmm.
Try to make friends.
You're not trying to make friends you're trying to avoid someone actively at the moment.
Right. Raised in a lab cage.
Yes, I will say raised in a lab cage.
And it is a door to the garden, so there is an escape. So is that good?
Yeah, I will give you that.
Okay. I don't think anything else. So unless you have weaknesses.
I do not have weaknesses on this one.
Okay. Face danger,
Possibly confinement is bad.
which was
That was what I pinged to actually do the hard move.
Okay, so it can't be part of it then.
Correct.
Okay.
take the status with a -1 tier.
Okay. That is a status 1 of agitated then.
Okay. Agitated and guilty. It doesn't. It
Mhm.
doesn't build up on the guilt. It's a separate thing.
Correct. Yeah. Two different things. Guilt could also be a social thing. I mean, I guess agitated could as well, but like agitated can provoke you into rash action.
Right. Okay. Agitated and guilt, which I've already kind of role played because she's kind of getting into pounce position anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is good.
Okay then. Well, she's going to stay hidden for now and stay in there.
Yeah. So Laurie slowly stands up from the floor and takes a step towards Veronica and says, "No, we don't know. This is the first we've heard of this. Do we think this is take a risk or convince?" Sounds like a convince, doesn't it?
I think it's a convince.
Okay. Best intentions. Living lie detector? No, it's not an investigate. It's therapist license.
I agree.
Calming influence. What do we think?
This is a convince to do what?
Convincing Veronica that you guys have. This is the first you've heard of ghouls being a thing,
Okay.
at least in the city, and not involving her in any way.
That actually might be sneak around. But yeah. I'd say dubious ethics or calming influence, either one.
All right, I'm going to say calming influence. I think it is a convince truth because we're trying to get her to alter. Well, Laurie's trying to get her to alter her.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Subtle influence.
Agreed.
I'm going to, or should I ping monstrous attraction on this one, or do I do a hard move to Laurie later? I think I don't ping monstrous attraction now. That needs to happen later.
Yeah, I think that needs to be a hard move coming up.
Yeah. So should I do either splintered personality or unlucky forever? Or both?
I think unlucky.
Okay. Oh boy. Hard move. Hard move it is. Veronica moves so fast that you can't see her move. She seems to turn into a black shadowy mist for a moment and then has her fingers around Laurie's neck. Baring her fangs, she snarls and says, "What? I was having such fun with you, pet, but if you're going to lie to my face..."
Elaine looks put upon and leans over Laurie's shoulder to sign between the two of them.
Rama's
Again,
pouncing
making
already. Not Rama. Random is pouncing already.
Okay,
we're not calming this down at all.
I would just like to know what was signed.
Promise.
Promise. Okay. Yes, she did.
There's no time to change the game, so I can't really set anything up. But yeah,
So
yeah,
you're attacking. That sounds like a hit with all you've got, since Veronica doesn't know you're there.
she's going to be going out and grabbing at Veronica from within the TV and pulling her back into a wall, trying to slam her into it, away from where Lori is, and then coming out.
You will try.
Yeah. I did say trying.
Okay.
Let's see. Appear from out of nowhere.
This is a -2, but there are other things that will apply.
I am agitated, but that's why I chose to pounce out of there instead of do something more. Get prepared. Appear out of nowhere. Um, since I'm going to be, I can't really. I do Ventures of Speed and Transfer because I'm using Sayako's coming out of the TV thing for an unusual direction. And inured to the horrible. Dark shadows, flickering lights. I don't think because the room has been described as well lit.
Correct. Did you use inured to the horrible before?
On investigating her.
All right. Okay. So that won't apply.
Right. It's the reason why I didn't use it when I was doing the face danger resistant.
Indeed. So yes. So it is a -2.
Which gives me 1.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm not going to tag a weakness. Oh, I could tag natural nemesis. Yeah, I think I'll tag natural nemesis.
Well, that's going to be an attention on that.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm at +0, which means I'm going to be doing a status of 1. Okay. Hit with all you've got.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I get to choose 2.
Is it the minimum 1?
The minimum power is 1.
Okay.
So get them good. And gain the upper hand for 1 juice. Which is going to go immediately into her preferred fighting form, which is Xenomorph moves fast. So it's a status of 2 and a juice of 1, which I immediately spend.
Random leaps out at Veronica and simply passes through her like she's made out of mist.
Oh,
She then goes tumbling and onto the top of the table, and which will break the legs of the table.
I'm sorry, I did not control collateral damage.
Indeed. I am going to get Elaine and Laurie to face danger at this point. But
What sort of danger am I facing? Is it the physical danger? Is it the mental
it will
danger?
be the physical danger, because even if you're an invincible vampire who can just phase through things, having someone charge at you means you have poor reactions to being attacked.
Okay, well, if it's physical danger, it's meaningless if the monster can die. Always a new monster. 2 places at once, puppet substitution.
Yep.
Any weaknesses?
I don't see
No.
anything that works.
No.
No,
No
neither
weakness.
am I. Face danger with a power tag from this thing. It is done. Okay.
Well,
Yeah, I think I'm going to reflect the status.
Okay.
And the status is going to be caused by being tangled in the mangled deceased puppet. Like, you know when he traps him in the bondage toy in Doctor Strange?
Very cool. Alright, so status 2 on Veronica. Which means I should probably face danger with Laurie. Survivor's instincts. Uncanny luck.
I'm going to have random spin to help on that.
Oh, thank you.
She was actively trying to protect you, so.
Let's see. Flawless grace. Feral physicality.
I think so.
That's all I can see.
Maybe a weakness of splintered personality, because this is a harsh situation, and you're not sure what your body, your not sure your reactions are not united for the moment.
Oh yes, there is the whole scared witless of Veronica, but also hey. Minus from the status shaken. All right, facing the danger. Oh my.
Snake eyes.
So Veronica may be tangled up in the. Yes, in Elaine's core, but Laurie was already grabbed at this point, and just by instinct, Veronica bites him, which will give the status of drained, which is a status 3. Sorry, I just need to check up what. Okay. For every tier of drain the target takes after applying its defenses, the creature of darkness removes 1 tier from a harmful status it has.
Yay! Okay, she's supercharged again.
Only a little. She's only got a +3 at this point.
That's fine. I am going to, because I've defended against this bullshit now, and now it's my.
It is. Yes.
And
You
I have
the spotlight.
I have plenty of other me's doing all sorts of shit. So I think June is going to pass her a note. The note is going to read, "For the offence of committing violence while under my hospitality, you are no longer welcome within the house."
That feels like change the game.
Vampires can't come in unless they're welcome.
Is it a change the game or is it a convince?
Good question.
I like it as a convince.
Yes,
I like it as a convince with the stick being a sort of holy ground effect.
Yep.
Yeah, that feels really good.
What the flip do I use for this, though? 2 places at once. Always a new monster?
I think monster must be unidentified because you identified the monster. In this case, you have identified and you know its weaknesses.
But that's kind of a stretch.
I would suggest reckless abandon and porcelain perfect beauty.
Awesome. Any weaknesses?
The monster must not speak. Handing over the notes going to be a little bit difficult.
Going to be hard to attract attention when I'm just waving a note.
I'm also going to say self-doubt.
Ouch.
Hey, you're the only person without a negative state.
This is true. I'm sure I'll get one. But my face danger game is So my cunning plan has not gone well.
There's a moment where Veronica stares apparently in a bit of awe and I've lost the word. Admiration. Was it Elaine or was it June? Splashed. Yes. She looks down in admiration at June for a moment and slight astonishment before breaking into another fanged grin as she leans forward and says, "Are you sure you want me to leave, dear? After all, I just hurt Laurie terribly. He might need some more blood, you know."
Is this describing a horrible MC move that I'm going to have to face now?
Oh yes, this is the terrible choice. Do you get rid of Veronica and possibly let Laurie bleed out because he's currently on the floor spilling claret all over your carpet? Or...
I would like to point out that I did state at the start of the scene this was tiles.
Okay. It's stating your ground. You're never getting the blood out of this ground, dear. Okay. There is that. Or do you let Veronica heal Laurie at this point?
June signs. You'd be amazed what the paramedics can do with donor blood these days. And waves farewell.
Veronica shrugs, chuckles, looks down at Laurie and says, "Well, goodbye, dear. You have some lovely friends. They'll be the death of you yet, I'm sure." Before she walks out.
Which is ironic given that it was Laurie that set off the whole violence this time. Okay. Is it like an instant pushed out of the area?
No, she walks, and as she leaves, the door closes behind, like gently without slamming.
I'm going to assume that Random doesn't have enough time to pounce again. Yeah. Okay.
You have the spotlight. What are you going to do?
Right now I have an agitated, guilty murder machine who is revved herself up for murdering, and the thing she wants to murder turned its back on her. Them. Excuse me. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, because your first attack worked real well. Okay, how are we doing for time?
We're actually at an hour and a half, so we should take a break.
Alright, let's take a break, refill drinks and such, and leave that on a cliffhanger.
Next session can start with the consequences of of Random's next failed attack.
Yeah.
She chuckles and says, well then, I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't drink much.
I will get you to do the lion. It will happen.
Eventually. Laurie points at her and says, what the hell is she doing?
The fact that you've only said her makes me want to assume you're pointing at June and say that she's just having a little rest.
He's pointing at Veronica.
I know, but you didn't specify that.
Okay.
And I'm a terrible person.
Indeed. Speaking of which, while we're sort of doing this, I'm going to do the attention bit on Cure the World. So shouldering others' burdens is becoming a splintered personality.
Interesting.
And I'm adding the power tag. Question B, dubious ethic.
Can you do both?
If you change a weakness tag, yes.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, because you're not actually adding anything, you get to then take a power tag. Oh, actually, I should probably check that. I think that's the way it works. I don't think you need 2 or more weaknesses to change a weakness tag. Yeah, I'm going to go with that for the moment anyway. If we prove me wrong, I'll change it later.
When you rewrite a weakness, you can choose another improvement. Same if you
Cool.
remove a weakness.
Right. Yes, but you can only remove a weakness if you have 2 or more. That's right. Okay, so hard move it is. Let's see, what have I got in my toolbox here? I think the hard moves are in behind the scene.
I think so, yeah.
MC moves, here we are. Complicate things. Hit them after a fair warning. This is a hard move, so complicate things big time. Deny them something they want, make something horrible happen, turn their move against. I'm thinking turn their move against them.
Yeah, because this conversation was going well, but now she's absolutely convinced that you have something to do with the ghouls.
Yep.
It's not there's some other way that ghouls can get made, or there's some other vampire in the city. You've been doing this, you little traitor.
I'm sitting here half suspecting it's one of the leftover whites that managed to be around after you guys turned what's her name into Persephone Rift.
Oh, yes. I mean, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. There's a couple different potential sources for ghouls in the city since we're combining all 3 campaigns. Yep. So there's going to be streams of no, Sadako's not the one that has hair. Kyako's has hair, but Sadako is the one that's in the TV, so I can't do that. Oh well. Yeah.
I am going to get Elaine and Laurie to face danger at this point. Let's start with.
Whoops. I didn't mean to click that.
Would you like to keep the 12?
I'll keep the 12, but we can figure out what the power was meant.
Yeah, so it was 8.
What was that?
And
Oh,
it was
I
power
see.
4, so you rolled 8.
Oh, right, that's not a real 12. No, that's okay, I can re-roll that.
Cool,
That was,
cool.
I've also got dynamite.
Okay, we will do.
How do you
Oh my!
How do you tag for it to recognize there's such a thing as dynamite?
Sorry?
How does it recognize dynamite is a possibility?
You click the dynamite tag just above the roll button.
Oh!
There's also a burning tag for hit and a disable descriptions button up the top there.
Got it. Okay. What was that again?
Drain the ability drain life when you inflict a status on someone else. You can remove a negative status or give yourself a positive status of 1 tier per point.